excited about turning our attention now to a topic that is, to me, fascinating and one of great interest to my own personal health. My family's very interested in this. And I became interested as a physician early on in my career as a doctor when I started learning about Oriental medicine. And I first began by being trained in acupuncture and some traditional Chinese medicine techniques and the philosophy behind many of these healing processes and healing arts within Asia, the country of Asia and countries of Asia. And so when I think of that, and when I finally got an opportunity to visit Asia, and I've been to Japan and China and other countries, and especially Japan, we go there once a year, been there 7 or 8 times now. When you get there, you look around and you see something very different than you see in America. You see healthy people. You see people who are slim and trim and active, very active, riding bicycles everywhere in their 80s and 90 years of age, as opposed to being on walkers and canes and being, 6 feet under. And then as an observer, because we're trained as doctors to become acute and astute observers of our environment for the sake of helping our patients understand more about their health, I started to look into this. And what I found was really interesting. I said to myself, well, if this population of people that I see each and every year are healthier than the population of people I'm typically around in America, what's different about this picture? What sets them apart, and what are they doing that I can share with you, the audience, that you could benefit by? And lo and behold, one of the Asian secrets that I found, besides the fact that they're more active in that country, and they have a lot of other virtues that they participate in, one of the big secrets that we should pick up on, and we're going to talk about this hour, the Asian secret is their diet, what they consume on a regular basis. It won't be a secret after today because you can explore that simply and naturally and inexpensively to benefit yourself and your family if you'll take notes. And to that end, we've invited a special guest on the program today. His name is Greg Good. How would you love to have that name? Greg Good. He is CEO and president of FarmaSea, manufacturers and distributors of Sea Veg, a multi-generational family of nutritional supplements. Now, Greg is an experienced horticulturist and passionate whole food activist in the Phoenix, Arizona area with over 30 years of experience. And through his expertise in the importance of good soil to good nutrition, soil nutrition, watering, rooting, pruning, cultivation methods to produce different varieties of healthy land plants, citrus trees, vegetables, etc., he became intrigued, like me, by the nutritional superfood properties of sea vegetation. That is the Asian secret, folks, and you should own it, because if you do, you too, like many Asian cultures, will benefit health-wise in a big, big way. So, and it was fascinating to explore this, and Greg has been into this for a long time, and we are so thankful that he took out time of his busy schedule to join us here on the program, and I welcome Greg Good to the Dr. Bob Martin Show. Good day to you, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Bob, and your listeners. Good morning.
Good morning to you. All right, so you've got a company, FarmaSea, and you now distribute and help manufacture Sea Veg. I have a bottle of it right here, and this has now been incorporated as part of my family's health because, we try to eat well as we can, Greg, but you know what? When you're traveling, and we travel, my family, extensively, you can't always do that, and you can't also know what's in the soil of the food that you're eating. And so you got to just assume that there's going to be some deficiencies, some holes in your eating schedule that may preclude or may, set you up, I should say, for health problems. I don't want those. I don't want my family exposed to that. So why did you and how did you become involved in this area, this arena personally?
Well, Dr. Bob, it began for me probably about 15 years ago, early 2000s. I noticed I was in my mid-30s. I'm 54 now. in my mid-30s. I was very active, very much a sports guy. I played hockey. I played competitive softball. But I noticed in my mid-30s, things started to slow down for me in the sense that I didn't have the energy, especially at the end of the day. I was feeling worn out, and I began to think, boy, I need to do something. And looking at the different things and really trying to incorporate a lot more fruits and vegetables. You know, our government tells us we need 12 to 14 servings of fruits and vegetables for the optimum health and reduce our risk of cancer by 50%.
Yep.
But then I really focused in and started studying on sea vegetation and versus land plants. And what I found was really astonishing. And about 2001 is when I began really incorporating it into my diet. And one of the first things I noticed were some of the simple cell functions. My hair was growing faster, my nails would grow faster, my skin. People were coming up to me and saying, "Boy, you look younger. What, are you doing something?" And it really was just because of the seaweed. And the thing about seaweed that's so amazing is that it's all natural, it's bioavailable, but it feeds your body at a cellular level. And there are so many compounds in sea vegetation that can't be found in any other land plants. And that has been our mission as a company, is to educate people on the incredible benefits, health benefits of sea vegetation.
Mm-hmm. Now, just as an example, you mentioned how it benefited your hair, your nails, your skin. I challenge anybody to take a look and observe very carefully the next time you see somebody who is from Japan or an area where they inculcate sea vegetation into their diet, which in Japan, I mean, when you're there, as many times as we have been there, and you eat the food they eat, you find out right away that a major part of their diet involves sea vegetation. And my wife observed this years ago, and she said, geez, look at the Asian women have beautiful, lustrous, shiny hair, and their skin is absolutely clear, and look how slim they are. We just figured, well, that's just genetics, and certainly genetics play a role, ladies and gentlemen, but once you see what they're eating in these Asian countries, especially in Japan, where sea vegetation is heavily involved in their diet, you realize that there's something going on. And then when you look further into it, such as what Greg has done, Greg Good, and you find out that the constituents within this sea vegetation is loaded. It's highly dense in nutrients that we as Americans are not getting. I don't care how good you eat. I've seen some sick vegetarians that have all kinds of skin problems, hair problems, and other issues. They're not getting the nutrients because the foods are so depleted because we have soil issues and sprays on those veggies and everything else. That's a big challenge. We're going to find out how to solve that today, so stay tuned. Greg Good is with us. He is CEO and president of FarmaSea, fine manufacturers and distributors of Sea Veg, a nutritional product that I have in my hand right now. We're taking them in our family. Fantastic, because this helps us fill in the nutritional gaps that exist or may exist as a result of trying to eat good as often as possible, but knowing that that goal is unachievable if you're eating from dirt and plants that are not sucking up the nutrition they need, and therefore you're not getting what you need to help repair your body and decrease your risk of future health concerns. And the sea vegetation is one very effective superfood supplement way to cover all of that. And Gray is explaining to us today how all of that works. So let's go back to that conversation. You know, the topic of sea vegetation, people are not aware of this. This is something that's not taught. You had to educate yourself, Greg, self-taught. I have enough information, at least, about this to be dangerous. I want to know more because as I look at these Asian cultures and I find out that their longevity is better, their life spans are longer, and they have less degenerative diseases, so they actually have a longer health span, which means that, over age 40 in the United States, most people start dying a brutal death with all these different chinks in their armor. You name them, diseases like arthritis and heart disease and diabetes and high blood pressure and all these things. That's not living. They're put together literally by baling wire in the form of pharmaceutical drugs, and yet in Asian cultures, they are drug-free, they are mobile, they feel good, they function better, and you look at their diet, and what does it have at the center of it? Sea vegetation. Folks, it's not that difficult. And you know what? You don't have to move to Japan or some other Asian country in order to utilize this technology and this secret. This Asian secret can absolutely be yours passively and simply by filling in the nutritional gaps with something called sea veg. And Greg, I have to congratulate you for bringing this to the marketplace because it's one of the best kept secrets in my mind out there. So let's talk about, let's hone in on the sea vegetation, and particularly the strains of sea vegetation. And I understand, because I'm still learning myself, that there's brown sea vegetation, there's yellow, there's red. What are the different ones, and why are they different? What makes them unique?
Well, Dr. Bob, there are literally hundreds of different species of seaweed, but not all of them are edible. What we put in our product are three of the most nutrient-dense and mineral-dense and vitamin-dense species that we can find in the world. And they are composed of reds, browns, and green algae.
Okay.
So it's not only, you were mentioning the Asian cultures, it's not only that, the average Asian or Japanese eats between 12 to 14 grams of seaweed every day. It's no secret why they are so healthy. And it's not just that they're living longer, but their quality of life is much better. And that's really, to me, especially as I get older and have parents aging, quality of life is essential. But there are some compounds, like I said earlier, in seaweed that are not found in land plants. One of those is a compound called fucoidin, which there's recently been a lot of worldwide research on regarding cancer prevention, and that its ability to cause cancer cells actually to self-destruct. It's a process called apoptosis. And there's studies on breast cancer. I read one just the other day where they're doing this study on breast cancer where they're using a species extract out of it, and it's even more effective than the tamoxifen chemo drug that they're giving.
Yeah, very commonly given.
But it doesn't have any of the side effects.
Yeah, no side effects. And folks, he's absolutely correct on this. This is something that I do know about because the keynote speaker at one of our talks in Japan was from Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. And when you look into the sea vegetation appearing now in major medical journals, appearing to have anti-tumor, anti-cancer, neuroprotective actions, and Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center is writing about this. They're interested in this compound called fucoidin that he just mentioned. But it doesn't stop there. This particular element helps to modulate the immune system because of the great numbers of antioxidants that are in this type of specific sea vegetation, and how it can keep your immune system strong so that you're able to resist viral infections. And let's face it, cold and flu season are right around the corner. People are worried about herpes. That's a virus, the common cold, influenza. Here is a way to essentially swallow a form of health insurance in the form of a superfood called sea veg. Now, Greg Good and his company, FarmaSea, they've done all the heavy lifting, have done all the research, and have brought to the marketplace this fine product line, and you should know more about it, because if you do, what you're essentially doing is taking charge of your health, knowing that there may be some deficiencies. We all have some. This one fills in the gaps in a big way. How many vitamins and minerals, do you have some kind of a number as to if somebody were to utilize or order or take sea veg, and we've just got a little bit to break here, Greg, how many nutrients in terms of vitamins and minerals is actually in a capsule of sea veg?
There are 92 vitamins and minerals in each capsule of sea veg.
92. Wow. How do you get it all in there? Jeez, 92.
That occurs when the sunlight hits the ocean and brings all these minerals together and creates the seaweed. There's a process of harvesting and drying in a specific way, but it's really an amazing plant. It really is. Just all the benefits, and as research is showing us, and I know for myself and my family and my friends and all of our customers attest to all the benefits, and it goes way beyond even cancer, cardiovascular health.
Yeah, and I especially like the science behind it. That to me is fascinating. Folks, if you want to find out more about sea veg, you can call this toll-free number, order it, get started, protect your health. It's vital. 855-627-9929. Sea veg, SEAVEG. Check it out online too. We'll talk about that in a minute. People think they're eating well. They'd like to eat well, but they're not. It's just almost virtually impossible unless you're supplementing to get all the nutrients your body actually requires. I mean, look around. Look around at our society. What you see is a lot of illness. We have a great illness-oriented system, but not a healthcare system. In this regard, we're talking about true healthcare, doing things proactively, preventively to stop things from occurring in the first place. That's healthcare. Reactive care is waiting until something breaks before you fix it. Who wants that? That's expensive and painful. And if you look around and you see people that are overweight, tired, they have all these symptoms. Why? Because they're not giving their body what it needs. They're not shielding their body from these various chronic problems. Our special guest, Greg Good, CEO and president of FarmaSea, that's with an F, FarmaSea, manufacturers of sea veg, spelled SEAVEG. And if you're interested in supplementing your diet with 3 different forms of special sea vegetation so that you ensure you're getting all the nutrients you need in the red, the brown, and the green, with 92 vitamins and minerals in there. I mean, folks, that is the more comprehensive than any multivitamin and mineral you can buy in the market. And there is so much junk in the marketplace, from one a day to you name it. You read, you got all these excipients and binders and all these coloring agents, and their nutrient levels are too low to meet the needs. And here you have a product called Sea Veg, a superfood from the sea, one of the places where the most powerful and concentrated foods exist. That's why we see in Asian countries they're so healthy. They're consuming copious amounts of sea vegetation. Now, you can certainly start, living at a sushi restaurant and eating tons and tons of sea vegetation in the form of sushi and other things, or make it easy on yourself and your family and just order Sea Veg, the supplement, and voila, you're there. You get the benefits, and your body's going to be happy with you when it starts receiving 92 vitamins and minerals from this superfood called Sea Veg. Here's the toll-free number where you can order it, too. 855-627-9929. 855-627-9929. And one of the unique elements within this Sea Veg, among all the other 92 minerals and vitamins, is the fact that it is replete with iodine. We are majorly deficient in iodine, and when you become deficient in iodine, you start seeing all these thyroid problems. And when you start seeing all these thyroid problems, you see people with depression, because we know hypothyroidism can slow the brain down and cause depression. We know that iodine deficiency can cause memory problems, constipation, dry skin, hair loss. We are trained as doctors to see this in our patients when they come into the office, or they have menstrual cycle problems or infertility issues, or they have high cholesterol or stiff joints. Even pot bellies could be associated with thyroid problems, which is linked to a deficiency of this important trace mineral we call iodine. And yet, one of the most plentiful sources of this iodine exists in this sea vegetation we're talking about today. And I suspect, Greg, that one of the things that come back to you in terms of your customers is that they start noticing that their weight is improving because they're getting the amount of iodine they otherwise aren't getting in their diet, and all of a sudden their thyroid gland, the metabolic carburetor of the human body, starts to kick in, and it starts to burn the calories that they need to be burning and all the other positive effects. Are you seeing that kind of feedback?
Oh, absolutely, Dr. Bob. And our website is buyseaveg.com. People do not only just the weight loss, but also being able to get off their thyroid medication. It does help you lose weight. It brings up your energy levels. It also deters cellulite buildup. I had a customer call in who's a very active man. He's about my age, been in martial arts, all sorts of things, but he noticed he started putting weight on. And he started taking the C-Veg, and he called me back, and he says, the most amazing thing, I haven't changed my diet, haven't changed my exercise regimen, yet I'm losing this weight. Thank you. And he ordered some more. So it does have that ability. I was at a vow renewal for people's 25th wedding anniversary last night, and it really bothered me. I was sitting at the table, and this guy was like, yeah, I had to go on a diet to lose 5 pounds just so I could come to this tonight and eat what I wanted. And I thought, boy, if that isn't a testimony to where we're at in our culture with how we eat and how we look at our bodies, and it really astonished me.
Yeah, I can see that, and a lot of people are concerned. They hear about how alkalinity is important and how not to be so acid. Here's the opportunity. This is a highly alkalinizing food in the C-Veg. You should check it out for yourself if you're interested in all the attributes and all the positive effects. And this is the Asian secret, C-Veg. Take advantage of it. BuySeaVeg.com. That's BUYSEA veg, VEG.com, or call their toll-free number, 855-627-9929. 855-627-9929 for C-Veg or BuySeaVeg.com. All right, Greg Good, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Dr. Bob Martin.